an easy start. All right, guys. Welcome to Three-Headed Monster. I am Chris the Comedy Bunny, and I am the keeper of the beast. And I am here to let you guys know that I've been up in my adulting game lately. I'm really starting to kick a lot of ass. I bought a car recently, new car actually. And by new, I mean a 2010 PT Cruiser, so not really new as much as just a car. And I'm not entirely sure it wasn't sold to me by a man who I think owns a chop shop. Because I keep finding strange parts of the car that don't belong to that car. My mechanic was like, hey, you know your fuel pump is not for your type of car. And I go, really? And he's like, oh yeah, no, it's for a diesel engine. And I was like, I don't know shit about cars. Is that like bad? He's like, well, not really. I mean, it works. And I'm like, well, you know what? That's about how my life works. So yeah, I can work with that. But really though, I was really excited when I bought this car. I was like, yeah, I bought a car. And I was like really pumped about it. And I was gonna pick my friend up because he was sitting, I was gonna pick my friend up and I was gonna take him out to lunch to celebrate, you know? I did it, I bought a car, I'm being an adult. And so I pick him up and he gets in the car, he sits down next to me and I'm looking at him with a smug look on my face like, And he goes, so we're driving a minivan now? And I was like, oh, technically it's a truck. And he goes, excuse me, I didn't hear you. What was that? And I go, the PT in PT Cruiser stands for Plymouth Truck, so technically it's a truck. Just throwing that out there. And he's like, well, technically you're a fucking soccer mom now. And so I said, well, technically, I could drive us both off a bridge and no one would find us, so shut the hell up. And he gave me a look like, all right, sorry. And I'm like, good, thank you. And then I started driving along. And he's sitting there and he goes, so, are we gonna pick Melissa up from soccer practice or is she getting a ride with Jason? Because I just need to know. I'm like, you know what? I was going to take us out to a really nice lunch, and because of your attitude, I'm not going to. Oh my God, he's right. I have become a soccer mom, and I'm afraid I might like it a little bit. But I think I'd like to introduce our first head of the Three-Headed Monster. I think some people would call him the soccer mom of the Dragon Show. Give it up for Soccer mom! I
can't live up to that, thanks. Alright, so anyway, oh wow, I said it already, cool. Drink, alright. So, I already forgot what I was going to say. Drink again. So, anyway, what I was going to say is, have you guys heard why Sonic the Hedgehog can't stay married? Because whenever anyone bumps into him, his ring flies right the fuck off. It's like, oh no! Tails is gonna be so pissed! Hey, we're progressive here. Speaking of Sonic the Hedgehog, I saw an amazing interview with Larry King interviewing the voice of the new Sonic the Hedgehog. And you gotta go look this up, because it's the greatest thing ever, because I was convinced Larry King has entered a Faustian deal where he just had to interview every day just to like sacrifice something to the gods so he can dunk into the Lazarus pit. But that's a whole other story. So he's doing this interview with the new Sonic the Hedgehog. And you know it's not go well when he goes, what is Sonic the Hedgehog? And he just starts going, he goes, Sonic is a guy who's been around since '91, he's great, he's running all over the place. And I think I'm going to bring him life. Larry King goes, hedgehogs are interesting. And he just goes, okay, I don't know where this is going to go. And so later he doesn't know where to go with it and goes, what do you think Sonic the Hedgehog would sound like? And he goes, hello, my name's Larry, and nobody cares about me. And now I just want to see Larry the Hedgehog plus Knuckles. I don't know about you. That's the movie I want to see. So, anyway. So, recently I've been seeing more and more in the news. Like when I was growing up over the past 10 years, like there are scientists always saying, you know, global warming is really important. It's going to affect our grandkids. And that was supposed to affect us in our lives. That's fucking bullshit. I'm going to be worthless as an 80-year-old man in a Mad Max apocalypse. It's like, I can't do anything. I'm just going to get to my town and get like, oh, what can we do with this guy? Oh, I got an idea. Check out his Fur Affinity account. See, that's a hopeful joke because we still have internet, so. Anyway. Yeah, I do worry about that stuff and whatnot. I was just looking outside, I was working out upstairs, I'm in the gym. I think it's hilarious how we as humanity, we got all this concrete, metal, steel, smog everywhere. We have a big ass hotel up, and then we just put a few trees. Like God's gonna come down like, oh, what the fuck happened? Oh, it's the same goddamn thing. It's called a courtyard. Look, what did you do? Like, I had deer and shit here. We got deer inside. You can hug one. Come on. Oh, yeah, it's pretty nice. So, anyway. Oh yeah, we got rats. On purpose. We got rats on purpose. And, yeah, we got rats, but they're not just regular rats, they're fancy rats, which is like, they're a lot cleaner, and they wear powdered wigs. It's really nice, you know, they bitch about the commoners. You just, you know, you have to deal with them every once in a while. Just put on Fox News, they'll show up. Anyway, no, they're good rats. Anyway, before we actually got the rats, see, we ended up with Matilda, who is adorable, and Aria, who's cute too, but I don't trust. I don't know, there's something about her. I think I'm gonna wake up, he's gonna be wearing my cat's face. I don't know. It's just an instinct I have. Could be a bad reference to Game of Thrones. Anyway, before we got them, they were in this enclosure, and it was a plastic thing, but like they're all snuggled up together outside in this tube, and they're all sleeping. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? There's like 5 or 6 of them, like front to back, and then one of them starts freaking out a lot. Like, oh no, what's going on? And I see it's freaking out because one of the sleeping rats is shitting on his head. And it's just looking at me like, oh, I'm getting shit on and I can't do anything about it. Welcome to America. Oh boy, I have nowhere to go with that, so that's where I'll stop that. You can see how prepared I am. Here's a little bit of education for you kids. If you find that you are piloting a giant meat robot, you are too high. Because that's what happens when you smoke too much. You're piloting a giant meat robot, and all of a sudden, your house is a goddamn American Gladiators obstacle course. Like, you'll just be wrong, like, oh shit, when did we get this fucking swinging door in? This is bullshit. So, in conjunction with, you know, the new legality in the state and stuff like that, I just wanted to give you a few more thoughts I've had while I was stoned out of my gourd, because it sends my brain in interesting places. So, all right, here we go. Oh, here's one. Video of a live birth is the most horrifying unboxing. Okay. When I die, I want to donate my organs just so I can donate my queer eyes to a straight guy. The Fire Fest was just Burning Man without drugs. Let's see here. I can't read my own handwriting. Let's see if I can get back to that one. Oh, I know what this one. I wonder if animals also have a human foot fetish. Okay. Gerrymander is the worst Pokemon. And when you're a furry, you can say cool sentences like, wow, today I saw bee pussy. So, those are brought to you by weed. Something else. We do a thing that's been a lot of fun. Mario Kart's a great game, I'm sure you can agree. But Mario Drug Kart is way better. And no, it's not like, you know, it's not like shipping stuff over the border or anything. Mario Drug Kart is basically you do a round, you each do a puff, and you do another round, and you each do a puff. Or more, and this should be on esports, it's wonderful. Because like, we play with some really good players, but by the end it's bonkers, right? Like I found myself like ramping off of a ramp and like, I had a bomb in my hand, I ran into a castle, like, oh shit, I did British 9/11. And so, you get wonderful moments like that. So, well, the thing is, you go too far, and we did go too far. Like, oh, don't you see? Like Mario Kart, it's like it's society. Because when you're in first place, you gotta look out for the blue shell, and that's taxes. So you get hit by the blue shell, you lose 4 coins, and it just knocks you down a peg. So there's that. But the thing is, if you go back too far in society, if you're in like 6th place to 10th place, well then you gotta look out for Bullet Bill. Because that's a real thing. Makes sense if you think about it. Oh my god! I had other things in there, but I forgot them all. Isn't that fun? Oh, so...
Are you enjoying Michigan too?
Oh boy. Oh yeah. So yeah, the funny thing about working new jokes out and stuff like that, because like, it's such a weird job to have. It's one of the only jobs where I can think of that you have to test out in front of a live audience. You don't do that very often. If you're a scientist, you're just going to be like, all right guys, I'm going to attempt to cure cancer. All right, Timmy, make a wish. Oh, he's dead. Come back next week. Hopefully I get the kinks out and rework this formula. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Oh, I'm going to trip over all the wires. Sweet. All right. So, I've been watching a little bit of the primaries, the elections, of who's running for president and stuff, and I'm waiting for everyone to see what they're going to say and that kind of thing. I have my favorites here and there. I kind of like Bernie Sanders because he just looks like Dr. Wily being played by Danny DeVito or something. I love that cartoon character quality. But like, another guy is like, it's run me along, I'm still on the fence about, is Joe Biden, because there's all sorts of things. One of the things he did was like, President Obama was like, all right, Joe Biden, I want you to cure cancer. And this happened at the State of the Union address. And he started a podcast. And those two things have nothing to do with each other. So I don't know if that's part of the main plan or something. I just wanted to listen to Biden's podcast. He was like, hi guys, I'm Joe Biden. Cancer is a really big problem in the world, and it's going to be really tough to conquer cancer. But even I can make a great website with Wix. So input your code here, Joe Biden, Vice President 2020, and you can make a great website. Anyway, back to the podcast. World hunger is a great problem in our society, and I want to try to sell that as well. But you'll never go hungry with Blue Apron. So be sure to put the code in. And if you join my Patreon at the $50 level, you can become a Biden buddy. And join in on my Twitches for Twitchy Joe. I could just see him going, see, I love the idea of Joe Biden having a Patreon. And he had just have these insane levels, like for the $100 level, I'll show up at your funeral. Because that just assumes Joe Biden's going to outlive us all. For $500, I'll show up, and I'll show up at your funeral, go up to your casket, put a tungsten octagon on your corpse, salute, and walk away. All your friend will be like, what did he do? How did he know Joe Biden? Did he touch the corpse inappropriately? Anyway. And so yeah, one thing I've really never gotten to master really well and I'm working on is a good way to end a comedy set. So thanks guys.
All right, everybody, keep it going for Xander the Blue. That was really comedy is not easy, and that is the most passive-aggressive thing an MC can say because it implies that your set sucked. So Xander, comedy isn't easy. Oh, no, really though. Great job, Xander. It was amazing. Okay, guys, for real, I think I got it this time. I told you I was up in my adult game. Car thing didn't work out, right? All right. No, this time though, I got a new apartment, right? I rent land that's kind of like an adult. So, I got a new apartment. I'm really excited because my last apartment was a place where dreams go to die.
Not all apartments?
Not this one. We're getting to that. All right, so. Oh my God. The only thing that thrived in my old apartment was like sadness and despair and a strange smell that neither myself nor my roommate could ever pinpoint and assume it was coming from the walls. But doesn't matter now because I'm not there anymore. But my old apartment didn't really have like a design to it. It didn't have like theory behind it. It didn't have furniture in it. So I really wanted to step my game up. So I decided I was going to pick a room in my new apartment and I was going to like make it a thing. I was going to put a lot of effort into making it look nice. So I picked my bedroom because that makes sense. And you know, I buy new sheets for my bed and I get a nice little bookshelf and it matches the bed and it matches the sheets in the bed, pink and blue because I like those colors. And it holds all of my books. And I realize I have a bunch of stuffed animals screwing about. I can't have that. So I buy a little net to hang above my bed, put all the stuffed animals in, and I buy a dresser. And I'm really excited because this dresser has different animals on the front of the dresser for each drawer, and I can organize all of my stuff. So like the snail has all of my socks because alliteration. The crab has all of my unmentionables because it's funny. The wolf has all of my tops. The fox has all the bottoms because... and of course, the rabbit bottom drawer holds all my fetish stuff because it's my deepest held secret. And I'm really proud of this place. I am so proud of this room. If this room were my child, it would have the sense of entitlement and the ego of a white rich male. Like that's how much I love this room. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling like a real adult. And I'm like, hey coworker, and my coworker's like, don't talk to me. And I'm like, seriously, just one time, please. And he's like, what's up? And I was like, come over to my house. You're gonna be impressed. And he's like, all right, sure. Comes over to my house. I'm showing off the apartment. He's like, yeah, this is pretty nice. And we're getting to the pièce de résistance. I can't speak French. And I'm like really excited, you know, because I'm walking up on the door and I'm like, oh, here it comes. Here it comes. He's gonna be all like, whoa, this room's so nice. You're so grown up. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh man, you're like a real adult. And I'm like, yeah. And then he'll be like, everything your parents said about you was wrong. And I'm like, yes. So I'm holding onto the door handle and I'm like, here it comes. Here it comes. He won't even expect that I live here. And I swing the door handle open and I show it off and I go, check it out. What do you think? And he goes, huh. Cool, I didn't know you had a daughter. And I go, in my head, well, I was right. He didn't recognize that I lived there. But I don't think I'm going to get the rest of the validation that I was just building up. But outwardly, I look at him and say, yeah, her name's Melissa. After we get lunch, I got to pick her up. back to my old joke. Anyways, somebody doesn't need a call back. Pandas, get it up here.
Hello. Hello, Motor City Breaker! Just meet my set list, which hopefully I won't have to refer to, but you know I will. Oh, so how are you enjoying the magical theme here at the convention? Wonderful, wonderful. I love all the magical stuff that's been going on. But the truly most magical thing that I've been experiencing recently, J.K. Rowling's Twitter feed. Do you follow her too? It's crazy. I have a theory. She's trying to write a Harry Potter erotic novel one tweet at a time. It's crazy. It's like, well, you know, everyone, did you hear? We're releasing a new Harry Potter set from the original movies, all the first 8 movies, with hundreds of extra hours completely uncut. Well, that's great. And speaking of things that are uncut, let's talk about Dumbledore's penis. What? Hey, did you know that Dumbledore created all the magic around the castle? Oh, well, that's really neat. He also created all the magic for platform 9 3/4. Oh, well, that's fantastic. Speaking of things that are 9 3/4, let's talk about Dumbledore's penis. JK, I appreciate this, but there's sites out there that do this for you. There are many other people working on what you're trying to do. But it's crazy. She's like, did you know Dumbledore was gay? Really? There was nothing alluding to that in the original books, but I did hint at that in the prequel movies. She's like, oh yes, yes. He and Grindelwald had an intense sexual relationship. Okay, I think you've gone far enough. You don't really need to go into details. Yes, they used to polish each other's wands. Shut up, JK. Stop right there. They would expecto each other's Patronus, if you know what I mean. Stop it, JK. You don't need to know. They had pet names. No. I don't want pet names. I don't want to know the pet names. Grindelwald and fuck me more. Okay. Speaking of the wonderful world of movies and whatnot, did you hear they dropped the title today for the new Star Wars movie coming out? Yeah. Yes. The Rise of Skywalker? Oh. I've seen that once again. There are sites out there that do that for you. Oh, Luke. I didn't know that was blue, too. We got some other movies coming up. You see the ad for Toy Story 4 is coming out? Yeah. I love the whole Toy Story with the anthropomorphic characters coming to life and bringing joy. I will admit I enjoyed the original Toy Story movie, The Brave Little Toaster. Woo! And I know what you might be thinking. Vacuum cleaners, toasters, are those really toys? They are if you're doing it right. But my favorite movie that I heard about recently, it's the sequel to a movie that never got made. They had a script completely written and ready to go for Forrest Gump. And it didn't get made because of 9/11. I want you to think about what I just said. Happy-go-lucky, Forrest Gump has a kid, blah, blah, blah. 9/11 happened, we can't make the sequel. There's a reason. Like, what? Was there supposed to be a big extended scene of them in, like, New York? Did he move his office to the Twin Towers? There was supposed to be, like, him in one tower and the kid in the other, and, well, we can't do that now? Oh, no. Did Forrest accidentally, he was trying to re-enlist in the army and he accidentally joined a terrorist group? Life is like a terrorist attack. You never know what you're gonna get. Oh no, let's go over a few key points here in this movie. And this is why sober me is glad this movie didn't get made, and drunk me really wishes it had gotten made. Point number 1. Remember in the first movie? I hope you've seen it. It's 25 years. I'm not going to do spoilers at this point. In the end of the first movie, oh, poor Jenny, she passed away. But little Forrest, he was perfectly fine, lived happily ever after with his dad. Well, guess what? Little Forrest wasn't so healthy. Forrest Jr. has AIDS! That was how they were gonna open up the movie. No! No! I don't even have anywhere to go with that, just no! Second of all, there were a lot of celebrity interactions in the original Forrest Gump. He met, you know, the president and all that. They had a celebrity interaction in this movie planned as well. Apparently there was a scene where he was hiding in the back of OJ's white Ford Bronco. I'm not kidding, these are legit facts from the script. Like, what the hell is he gonna be like? OJ, you're going slowly. We're on the freeway and right now your Bronco is slower than I am. But the real reason that the movie couldn't get made because of 9/11 is the final point. OJ deals with the death of his Native American friend who was killed in the Oklahoma City bombing. What? This is the plot point in the movie. Were they going to have him sitting on the bench in the missing front of the building, and instead of the leaf, it's floating papers going along? What the hell? Who wrote this script? And thank you for not ever making it. That's crazy. But I can see why they never made it. What else we got going on? Well, the weather's pretty good right here now, but a little cold here a couple months ago. Who here enjoyed the polar vortex? Wasn't it so much fun?
I was in Arizona, that didn't happen.
Lucky you. The Midwest, there were times during the polar vortex, the Midwest was colder than the Antarctic. This is true. There were toilets frozen solid and exploding because of how cold it was. Like, I do not want to walk into my bathroom and find just like shards of porcelain everywhere.
Like I said, fuck you.
Which, by the way, shards of porcelain doesn't sound like a great like heavy metal song. Busted corner, porcelain everywhere. Shards of porcelain. I want this album. It needs to be made. But it was really great. They were showing on the weather map this giant like magenta swath coming down from the north. And it actually wasn't one. The polar vortex had split. It had been cleaved in twain. And there were two polar vortices. And it was fantastic because it came down and was shaped just like a giant pair of magenta breasts. Just like magenta tits on everybody's weather screen. It was fantastic. Which, by the way, magenta tits. Doesn't that sound like a great 80s superhero? Yes. Magenta tits to the rescue! My superpowers are my nipples can cut glass and any other thing I want.
Paper drinks.
And vaporwave aesthetics on command.
Yes. The fuck? But it was absolutely crazy. And I have lost track of where I was going with this.
That's tits.
Polar vortices.
Magenta tits.
I am completely blanking. So we're going to go to a different topic. Sometimes accidents happen, like you forget your set. And sometimes they're not really accidents, they're just happy little fun things that happen. Like you try new things out for a convention. Sometimes we try new ways of communicating, like you get people together, you try and communicate by Skype, some people can try and talk at the same time and you can't really hear what's going on. So we tried using, at this one con, Zello. It's like an app where you record a little voice message and it takes them all in order, so you can't talk over one another. Every message from every person's in order. Alkali forgot he had his app engaged. And we started a meeting. He did not realize this till he's driving along and all of a sudden, hello? Are you there? His phone has Bluetooth connected to his car and is just projecting us over his speakers, and he has no idea what the hell is going on. I seriously, we get through the meeting and about 10 minutes into it, my car is talking to me! What is that? Is that alkaline? There are voices from my speakers! What's going on? He literally just screamed into the mic at one point. We were dying, but I totally assume he was just like, hello? Are you there? Car ghost? Is that you? I haven't heard from you since I was 5. I thought you were dead. Oh my God. But, you know, it's fun. You try new things.
5 minutes left.
I have 5 minutes left and I am stalling for you. I do this a lot, where I come up with what takes me to do 20 minutes practicing on my own, and then it takes 8 minutes in front of an audience. Basically describing my sex life right there. Okay, so, random shout out from the audience. Something I've done before. What do you want to hear?
Mom Des?
Mom Des Sphincter.
Mom Des. Oh, Mom Des is adorable. Mom Des is fantastic. She is a now 75-year-old British woman. She's like this tall, and she was an English teacher, and she's from England, but she came over to North America. She never lost her accent. She still talks like a British lady. Very prim, very proper, but sometimes things happen. I remember when she first came over, she sat down with the principal and interviewed and was talking to them, and they were like, oh, so how much experience do you have? Oh, well, I've taught this grade and that grade. Oh, that's fantastic, so you're an old pro then. And my mom drives home in shock and horror. And my dad, oh, he called me an old pro. In Britain, old pro means an old prostitute. So my dad had to explain, no, he meant you're an old professional, you have experience, so. But she's still never acclimatized. She went to buy some supplies for her class when she was teaching. I want to get some erasers, and I want to get some rulers and pencils. And she wanted to get what we call erasers. But from Britain, they use a slightly different term.
Yeah.
So she's in the pharmacy, goes up to the pharmacist and says, excuse me, could you show me where the rubbers are, please? Which of course means condoms in the North Americas. The North Americas? Apparently there's several of them now.
I like the Eastern North Americas.
And the pharmacist was like, well, they're over there. It's like, no. It's for my class. I need some rubbers with Fred Flintstone and the like on. I'm pretty sure they don't make those. There's not a Fred Flintstone condom. I'm gonna yabba dabba do you. There's not a Scooby-Doo condom. Oh yeah. That's how it's crappy with me. Anyway. But I started working out, and I was lifting a lot of weights for a while there. And my brothers were really supportive on it, and they were like, oh yeah, keep lifting those bis and those tris and, you know, your glutes and your quads. And my mom's really excited too, and she wants to chime in. She's like, yes, work out your sphincter! We were in a restaurant when this happened. Literally, you know that background noise of the knives and the plates and the forks, the clink, 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 and the chatter? All of that to a halt. And everyone was like, why did that little old lady just yell sphincter? Is that like a British dish? And she's like, waiter, more sphincter, please. Make sure it's very tender. I want my sphincter well pounded, if you can. And I had to, I was like, Mom, why did you yell sphincter?
Well, it's a muscle, isn't it? I saw it in one of my medical shows. You're not wrong. That's not a muscle group that my trainer's gonna help me work out. You know? He's not gonna be like, all right, let's get over to the Sphincter Buster 9000 and squirt! No. So my sister-in-law, who's a nurse, leaned in. She explained to my mother where the sphincter was located. And my mother grew very quiet. And she only said 7 more words the rest of the night. Waiter, more wine, please. And when it arrived, leave the bottle.
Another one, or you want to?
All right, I think that's going to be it for me, so if you want to come on up, Chris.
Keep it going. Oh, fun fact about Forrest Gump. They're in the original book that Forrest Gump is based on. Yes, Forrest Gump is based on a book, right? That's a weird thing. But anyways, the original book that Forrest Gump is based on, he goes to the moon. Wait, what? He's a part of the moon landing. Like, he gets in the way of the one small step being all hillbilly and goofy. It's really weird. He does a lot of other things too. He also, at one point, becomes vice president. Yeah, no, it's really weird. That's just a thing. I don't get to talk about Forrest Gump very often, but yes, in the book, there is a book. He goes to the moon. It's a sci-fi novel. Forrest Gump is a sci-fi novel. But before I introduce the last head of the dragon, I want to tell you I have finally figured it out. I can prove to you that I am an adult because I shit my pants. I've never gotten a clap for that, but thank you.
You and me both.
I started a diet recently.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. There's a lot of things that go along with diets, but one of the things I wasn't told was that I would be shitting my pants like once a week. Semi-regular. Like, I'm more regular than I was. It's just now in my pants.
What diet are you on?
Right? And it hasn't been terrible. I mean, it's been bad, but like, it hasn't been the worst thing in the world, because like, fuck it, there's new pants, you can always change your pants. But like, the worst part of all of it was my mother had a silent heart attack, which is like a heart attack, but with a silencer. So that's mostly a joke for me, because that's just so stupid. Anyways, she had a silent heart attack, and I had to pick her up from the hospital. And I'm waiting for her to, you know, sign her all of her release papers and them to wheel her out because you can't walk out or whatever because they need to feel like they're important. And like, so I'm sitting there waiting, and then like, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna release some pressure. No, I shit my pants. That's not a new thing for me, but like, it's not terrible. I'm like, all right. But then like, I really shit my pants. Like, for me, I have become quite the seasoned veteran of shitting my pants. I am now at another level where I'm like, oh, this is a sequel. This is a season finale of me shitting my pants. And I don't know what to do, because I'm waiting for my mom to get out of the hospital, and like, I couldn't go in there, but then I left my car festering and running in the loading zone. A lot of you connected a dot I connected, so I'm not going to go anywhere. So I'm like, I guess I'll roll the windows down? Yeah, that way it doesn't smell like shit in a car as much. And then my mom, nice lady she is, gets in the car and she's like, how's it going? And I'm like, oh, fine. How's the heart attack? She's like, you know. And she's like, oh, it's kind of chilly. Can we roll the windows up? And I'm like, we can. She's like, what's wrong? And I was like, well, you had a silent heart attack, right? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, well, it scared the shit out of me. All right. Well, let me welcome up a man who always scares the shit out of me. Everybody give it up for Alkali Bismuth.
Roll the windows down.
Can you keep shaking hands?
Allow me to start off with a public service announcement.
No drinking shit.
If an emergency happens and you pull out your cell phone, I assume you're calling 911 until you turn your cell phone to a 90-degree angle and start taking pictures of the horrid atrocity in front of you. Save a life. Don't post to Twitter, assholes. Because there was an incident. And I got to experience technology. You see, recently, I had to slow down my car rapidly. Has anyone else needed to slow down their car rapidly?
Yeah.
Because it's a normal occurrence. In Chicago? Excuse me, hold on. Chicago's a little different. We have turn signals, we call them warnings. We have guns and we call them turn signals. I understand Chicago. Well, I needed to stop because the person in front of me needed to stop. Would you like to know why the person in front of me needed to stop? So would I! There's no one in front of them. I'm assuming McDonald's was in play. I'm fat, I understand. I brought my car to an immediate halt. I didn't slam on my brakes. I applied pressure to the decelerometrics, knowing that I had enough room versus the person in front of me to not send their face through the shield which blocks the bugs from their mouth. The person behind me had no such qualms. The person behind me thought, hey, I want to fuck that car in front of me. But it's okay. That person was a sound, sane individual. And they know consent is key, and they applied their brakes. The person behind them was a rapist. Because it fucked their tailpipe hard.
Oh my gosh.
Allow me to replay the scenario. Car in front of me stops. I apply my brakes. I hear screeching. I hear a crash. I'm a furry. We care about the others in the humanity because we need more humans because humans become furries and dogs are adorable. I left my car. I walked out of my car to see the entire car behind me make the following motion. Oh good! Technology has come into play. The police are about to be alerted. I don't know if I need to stay. Click. Motherfucker, they're on Facebook. If you cause a major accident on the highway, call the cops, then take photos. It's not that hard. Except for the people behind me. Because they thought this accident was amazing. They thought this accident was stupendous, and I didn't understand why. Till I realized the people behind me were high school students. The people behind them who had slammed on their brakes were apparently porn stars. You would think that from what the car looked like, but it wasn't true. You see, the people behind them were simply drinking a gallon of milk. And that gallon of milk had started in one place and rapidly moved to another, aka their windshield. The damage to the car was slight, But man, that splash damage, I understand the pictures. Call 911 first. I had a second part, but I have already forgot it. There it is. I come up here and I get to spout nonsense to you guys. I get to give you a little bit of wisdom, mostly insanity. But recently, because of this gentleman right here, I found out that I am an idiot. Recent, shut up. I'm doing the stand-up. I get to decide the point in my life where I realized I was stupid. So 5 minutes ago, well, we have a thing that we do at our house, and that thing is we watch Batman the Animated Series. I'm so glad you guys brought Batman the Animated Series is one of the greats in the animated word that I can't think of right now that means something cool. Anal. Anal. Thank you. Thank you, whoever just yelled anal. Batman is a very anal cartoon. Batman is one of the most amazingly drawn cartoons that I've seen in my life. There are very few that I can watch from my childhood that I still appreciate. Batman, Gargoyles, a very small handful of others. But I was sitting in my garage and I was watching Batman and looking at the screen and I went, man, I will never understand Asians and their fixation with ladders. My mate, who has more balls than apparently anyone I have ever done stand-up to in my life, went, what the fuck are you talking about? And I pointed at the screen like the ladder in the background of every single dojo. And he looks at me and goes, dude, those are swords. Until this week. This goddamn week. I have thought that the racks with sticks is an Asian decoration. And those Asians are climbing the ladders to success. Nope. Turns out they are slashing prices left and right. Because that ladder is a bunch of katanas in their sheaths. And I was confused because you have to understand something. I may not have been doing stand-up for most of my life, but I've been MCing for different events for most of my life. I've been doing that since I was a teenager. And this is not the first time I have made an Asian ladder joke. Why the fuck didn't anyone tell me before 5 goddamn days ago? Roundhouse kick, high punch now, clean those gutters. Hey, wax on, wax off isn't that far removed from what I'm considering. Shut the fuck up. See, I'm not a smart man. But that's the beauty of hanging out in a garage. Xander kind of alluded to this earlier, and we finally get to do this stand-up because we're in Michigan. You know what the beautiful thing about Michigan is? It's Michigan. It's a goddamn beautiful state. This is a beautiful state! I don't know why it's... Okay, I just want to explain to you. He just went, nothing, and then pointed to his hand. Do you have masturbatory problems? And is it Michigan's fault? Is it because Michigan is kind of shaped like a glove?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go through the story now. So there he was masturbating with a Michigan glove. Could you tell me what is the state motto of Michigan?
No.
Exactly. The state motto of Michigan, for those of you who don't know it, is orgasm into my palm. I don't know if that's true, but I've seen Arby's commercials and I'm assuming things. Well, we were sitting in our garage. We had some mind-altering effects going on. And a commercial came on. Now I am only doing this because this gentleman over here has tried. He tried and he looked at me and said, I can't get it to work. because there was a night that I have laughed harder with this motherfucker than I have ever laughed before. Because we watched 80s commercials. And something happened. I have seen a million commercials in my life. I am from the age of commercials. We didn't have Netflix. We had cable TV, and for anyone who watches cable TV, you know it goes 20 minutes of commercials, then Dan Rather comes on. That's the extent of television before Netflix. Well, we were watching a commercial, and this commercial didn't want to sell you a car. This commercial didn't want to sell you a normal product. No. This commercial sold something that you see every time you walk into a grocery store. This commercial sold you something that you have never thought, I need to buy this. This commercial sold you something that you need to think, I hate myself, but this commercial makes it okay. They were selling cake. I notice that didn't get a big laugh, and it shouldn't, because you don't understand yet. Think of every commercial you've ever seen. A car. A $30,000 piece of technology that's going to get you from point A to point B. Insurance. This is going to help you live your life and make your wife rich when she murders you. I don't quite understand insurance, but that's the gist of it I get from HBO. I'm not quite sure. But no, this was an 80s commercial. And what were they selling? Not a slice of cake. Not a box of delicious Entenmann's treats. This wasn't Hostess. This wasn't M&M. This was a motherfucking cake. This commercial needed to be done a little bit differently, because let me tell you the real commercial. All of a sudden, you are in somebody's house. You're in their kitchen. The father looks over and goes, cake? And he starts slicing into a giant cake. And my first thought is, what the fuck is this commercial for? He takes that slice of cake. He doesn't place it onto his son's plate. He throws it. I know he throws it because I've had to deal out cake before. The spatula doesn't always work. You need to move that spatula. Have anyone ever... Whoa. Has anyone in here ever used a spatula before? If you lift it like this and turn to the side, what happens? You have messy cake. Your dog's eating that cake. And by your dog, I mean me. Well, the 5-second rule is real. I own a Roomba. Cake on the floor is not a big deal. Let's bring it all in. Let's bring it all in and understand my relationship with cake. We're all good? Excellent. No, he took the cake and he knew that the spatula could not handle this giant, delicious piece of angel food cake. So to pull off this commercial, he slid the spatula underneath the slice of cake and had to keep it moving. Centrifugal force, motherfuckers. It's part of a balanced goddamn diet. He takes the piece of cake and he slams it because it needs to move constantly onto his son's plate. It is flat. It is a little flat. The kid, without waiting for the spatula to get out of the way, goes in with the fork. Thanks, Dad! Jams the fork into the cake and shovels it into his mouth. And all I can think of is, when the fuck have I ever seen a commercial for goddamn cake before? Never. What is this? Why are they advertising cake? What was the 80s like? And there's only one explanation. Cake played a more pivotal role in America. We have Trump. We have lies. You know what the 80s had? Cake. So allow me to help you out and unpack the commercial I just gave you, because there's hidden meaning. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Would you like to come on this journey with me?
Yes.
Please. Come on inside. The water's fine, the weed is strong. Pull back.
Absolutely, sir.
The water's not kind of...
This is what the commercial was actually doing. Hey, wife! Did you make breakfast for the little shits? No, husband, I didn't. Well, that's your job because it's the 80s. It is my turn! And eggs go into cake. We all know. What are the ingredients in cake? Really fast. What are they? You can stop at fucking eggs. Here's the real ingredients in eggs. You're going to put sugar. You're going to put a leavening agent. And then you're not gonna fucking care anymore, because who here has turned down bad cake? It's still fucking cake! Here's the real commercial. You didn't feed the kids? Cake! The kid going, Father, is this truly what my nutrition system needs? Fuck you! This is the 80s! Nothing fucking matters in the 80s! Cake! Father, there's no frosting on this cake, you motherfucker! He's not jerking off, that's how you did frosting in the 80s. It was a simpler time. So now there's frosting all over the table, there's frosting on the cake, and his wife is having the third kid. We're not going to talk about that. But the part of the commercial that will never leave me is the look on the child's face. Do you remember being single digits old? I'm old enough that I don't. But I can imagine, if I was a child and my parents gave me cake, I'd be thrilled. I'd be so happy that my parents have obviously suffered some kind of a cake-related stroke, and this is going to be my breakfast from now on. No, this child, this young, prepubescent adult, had no reaction whatsoever. Bam! Cake is here. I suppose it is time to eat. What the fuck? Does he get cake every day? Is this his life? Did one day he wake up, look to his father and say, Father, today I would like pie. The father looked at him and said, 3.1415, fuck you! This is a cake household! You want angel food cake? Bam! Church! You want devil's food cake? Bam! High school! It sucked. Let's just admit high school sucked. Thank you! High school sucked. No, this child was totally unfazed by his parents giving him cake. Which should be the end of the story. But I work nights. So we watched the cake commercial, we discussed the cake commercial, and my mate went to bed, and I needed something to watch. Lord of the Flies was on. Have you guys ever seen Lord of the Flies?
I've read the book, yes.
You've read the book? Good! Just so you know, I had to look it up. 100% not the same actor, but I am convinced the fat kid on the island was the cake kid. I don't care what his pseudonym is. His parents went, cake, 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 and now he's Vor, and that's how the furry fandom started. I'm glad like 7 of you are except like, yeah, Vor, that seems like a good spot for the furry fandom to start. That is not how the furry fandom started. One day, somebody was watching the Disney Channel, and then he needed a new pair of socks, and now we have conventions. It's fine. It's fine. Here's the brilliant thing about living with your parents, and something I had to realize far too late in my life. That is this, and never forget it. Do your own laundry. Because if you don't, she knows. But she's too shy to say something about it. And then it becomes the equivalency of an arms race. Because if you give her your bed sheets and she can't shake them out without them crackling, you know you've won. That's right, I lived with my parents, and this is 100% true. I lived in my house till I was 24 years old. Oh, good. I'm so glad that didn't get any applause. That should be getting head shakes and loading of a gun. I lived with my parents. I don't know what you just said, but I will agree with you, but give you up. I lived with my parents till I was 24 years old. We had differences of opinion. They thought that Bush should be our president. I thought that we should survive as a country. We didn't get along very well, but that's the beauty. That is the beauty of living with your parents when you are an adult. Because who here knows this line? I would love to hear it. Raise your hands. My roof, my rules. You heard that one? You heard that one, right?
Yep.
Hey, I put a fucking, what are those called? God damn it.
Exclamation point? Antennas?
I put an exclamation point. So there I was, putting exclamation points in all of the dictionaries. What's the definition of a aardvark? An animal! Because when you read an exclamation point, you read it right, motherfuckers. No, I had something better. I had a sleeping bag. I used to love camping. Camping was one of my favorite pastimes. Also, I liked Eddie Izzard. My parents did not like when I put a flag and a sleeping bag on the roof and said, I can do whatever I want now. No flag, no roof, you can't have it. Now I know what you're thinking. Obviously, I'm making this up, but you are forgetting one thing. I'm an asshole. I thought it was funny at the time. You know what wasn't funny? To plant a flag in a roof, you gotta put a hole in it. So there I was, a genius 22-year-old on my roof with a sleeping bag trying to prove a point to my parents. We fought a lot. And I put a flag on my roof. It was an American flag. I thought it was patriotic. Then my father came home from work, came to the house and said, what the fuck is on my roof? I said, well, and I explained to him Eddie Izzard, which he sat there, stared at me, and listened to me. I understand. You know that's a metaphor, you dumb fuck, right? And I said, not quite. Well, let me explain. And he explained to me, you've all heard it, the concept of curfew, the concept of respect. All these things that I needed to learn. But you know what? I was leaving for the weekend. I didn't want to fight with them, and that's fine. I left. We're not going to go into where I went, but we will go into the fact that I had to leave early. Something happened. It was time for me to go home. And instead of arriving at my house Sunday morning at 8 a.m., I showed back up at my house Saturday night at 1 a.m. And that's the day I realized that I was truly an adult. Me and my parents do not agree on much, but I can respect them. I can respect what they are, and I can wish them well. And I've never been more proud to find my parents fucking in my bed. Vivacity, that's not a word, of my father. I still hope I have the volume of my mother. I still hope I have basic cable, which is apparently why they chose to use my room. My dad, I'll never forget, the look of sheer terror on his face, panic, not knowing what to say. And as he was stuttering, I couldn't help it. I looked at him. My sheet, my rules, and I walked away. Legitimately, I get along better with my dad now. Don't know how that happened. Am I over?
Yes.
Jesus. Oh, okay, I didn't actually think that would take that long. So, ladies and gentlemen, if I can please bring up the rest of the three-headed monster and our MC Chris. Guys, come on back up here. Chris, why don't you do the outro?
All right, everybody, this has been Three-Headed Monster. I've been its keeper. Good night!
No, I've got time.
Who's on right now?
Silver Gattoman, he bought me a coffee. Silver Gattoman, here is the song for thee. He likes to video all the panels at the cons. You should go and watch them whether they are short or long. Silvergatoman, you video that's not a jibe. All of you go to his YouTube channel and like and subscribe.